LeBron James certainly put the media in their place. He put the hammer on them. Watch this.
I was wondering why I haven't gotten a question from you guys about the Jerry Jones photo. But when the Kyrie thing was going on, you guys were quick to ask us questions about that. When I watched Kyrie talk and he says, I know who I am, but I want to keep the same energy when we're talking about my people and the things that we've been through. As a black man, as a black athlete, as someone with power and a platform, when we do something wrong or something that people don't agree with, it's on every single tabloid, every single news coverage. It's on the bottom ticker. But it seems like to me that the whole Jerry Jones situation photo, and I know it was years and years ago and we all make mistakes, I get it. But it seemed like it's just been buried under like, oh, it happened. Okay, we just move on.
Yeah, they can always just move on when it comes to black people. What you just watched was NBA superstar LeBron James checking the media on their bias, on their double standards when it comes to black people in our agency. And I was particularly on the edge of my seat when LeBron James said to them, I want to keep the same energy. When my people, when things about what we have been going through, people don't keep the same energy. I'm just wondering, a media person tried to jump in, Dan, but LeBron was very quick to say, no, I really don't want to hear nothing from y'all. I'm paraphrasing. I'm doing the talking. And then what people didn't see from the clip that we just played, he made his statements and he walked off. I mean, he totally dropped like 10 mics on them and walked off the stage, did not give them the opportunity to ask him any questions about this. Your thoughts about what LeBron James had to say about the Jerry Jones situation compared to what they did to Kyrie Irving?
Yeah, I'm happy that LeBron James made the stand, and I'm happy that LeBron James made it while, when you watch the whole thing, carefully not falling within the trap that unfortunately a lot of prominent black athletes are right now, or prominent black celebrities are right now, which is the traps of anti-Semitism. So like, he's actually making the point of, listen, I think it's good that we are critical of people not knowing the history and not knowing why we should respect certain things about history in certain situations. Now let's apply this to all situations as much as we can, especially in this obvious situation with Jerry Jones and the old photo that we have here. Now, like, I think the context, like, sure, it's an old photo, but he is literally an owner of a team, right? Like these power dynamics still exist and they're very naked within our society. And so I'm glad that LeBron James is calling it out and also providing an avenue to say, we can talk about these inconsistencies and we can talk about how much further we need to go in making sure that all people get this type of respect in society as much as possibly we can without getting into these horrific tropes of anti-Semitism. Because you're starting to, like, especially on a day like this where Kanye's popping off left and right, you're starting to lack for a lot of these figures.
Yeah, and he centered black people, and that was a safe space for him to be in, because anybody who wants to argue with him about the plight of black people, both from a historic perspective and then what's happening to black people right now, they would definitely be out of line and out of order. So good on LeBron. So James was referencing the resurfacing of a photo of the Dallas Cowboy owner, Jerry Jones, at a Little Rock, Arkansas desegregation protest in 1957. And as the headline shows, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones discusses photos showing him at a 1957 Arkansas desegregation protest. Jerry, of course, got off easy with a half-ass, ridiculous explanation. Watch this.
That was, 65 years ago, and a curious kid. I didn't know at the time the monumental event, really, that was going on, and I'm sure glad that we're a long way from that. I am, and we just that would remind me just continue to do everything we can to not have those kinds of things happen.
Now, maybe he didn't know at the time, being 14 years old. I'll give him that, maybe. Because the historian in me remembers seeing photographs at lynchings where white adults brought white children to lynchings. Yeah, in the United States of America. 1957 is not that long ago on the historical spectrum. On that spectrum, we acting like this was a million years ago. It was only 1957. So even if we give him the benefit of the doubt, which very few black people ever get, regardless of their status in society, he knows now. He knows now. So how is he going to make amends for that? But Jerry will get off. He'll be able to continue to do as he will with the Cowboys. He'll not have to explain himself for months on end, and he will get to continue to contribute to the type of politicians who are really the antithesis of fighting for justice in all of its forms. Check this out. Cowboys owner Jones donates $500,000 to Abbott's campaign. Texas governor raised $8.8 million in the past month. Democratic challenger O'Rourke raised $10.5 million in October. Yes, the same Greg Abbott who after the Uvalde massacre said it could have been worse. Yeah, that same man. So now why does this continue to happen generation after generation? Could it be the socialized makeup of the United States of America? The socialized makeup that disregards and disrespects and dismisses the thoughts, cares, and needs of the black community. That really is what LeBron James was getting at when he said, I wanna see the same kind of energy coming from folks when it comes to people transgressing the black community, but that energy was not there. And for some people, it is deliberate. These biases, these prejudices, these anti-black racism, sometimes it's deliberate, make no mistake. And then sometimes it's subliminal. Dan?
Yeah, I think the really important factor here is this is about power. And Jones has a lot of power in this situation here. He's giving money to campaigns for governor here, like for Greg Abbott. And Greg Abbott, like, look at what the tangible effects he's having for people of color. Like, whenever the power goes out in Texas because of a harsh winter, like we might see in the next couple months, that's because of Greg Abbott and the way, and Republicans like him and people that like are kept in power like this. And what does that do to the poorest among us, the most marginalized among people who have to be in the situations where they're up in cold houses, where heat doesn't work, where services are not coming to them because they've been deemed not deserving of those services because they don't have the wealth. Well, why don't they have the wealth? Because their ancestors were run off of property that they had managed to get. They would have been able to pass on and then create wealth from that. So without any sort of acknowledgement from people in power like this, and I'm glad LeBron James is using his power to point some at Jerry Jones, then you can't really get any sort of justice for this. Like, of course, Jerry Jones can't solve all these problems himself, but what is he doing to, at bare minimum, not continue making it worse for people of color?